I was born in a little tiny village in Africa, in a country called Kenya. Life has never been easy. So I learned to depend on myself at a very early age.
Meninda Marube says due to political unrest in his native Kenya, he fled the country for the U.S. in 2010 in search of a better life.
And so coming to the U.S., I had only one mission, and my mission was coming to this country to do what I know to do best, and that's running.
Meninda signed with a sports agent in hopes that his running career would take off. But instead, he says the sports agent took advantage of him, charging him a whopping 20% commission on his prize money from the races. And that's not all. He forced Meninda to pay for travel expenses. And when he wasn't racing, Meninda says he lived in housing provided by his agent, a 2-bedroom apartment he shared with 14 other runners from Africa. He also had to pay his share of rent, utilities, and food, all of which came out of his earnings from those races.
I was virtually doing a lot of races across the United States of America, thinking that I was making money and thinking that I was making life. I was coming second, third, winning some other races, but I never saw even a single cent. At no given time did I ever think about human trafficking or anything close to that. I never could think that some human beings can put some people into kind of a caged life.
But in essence, that's what happens to people who become victims of human trafficking. And while experts say labor trafficking may be harder to spot than sex trafficking, the elements of the crimes are the same: forced fraud and coercion, forced on the most vulnerable in our society, including immigrants.
Them being insular communities, it's harder for us to identify as law enforcement. The victims, it's harder for them to reach out, particularly if they have an immigration issue and think they might be deported or have some kind of negative response if we encounter them.
I remember you had already...
Fortunately for Meninda, he encountered someone who knew that something wasn't right about his life with his agent and offered to help. Later, while running the Santa Barbara Marathon in 2011, he met Dan Campbell, the track coach at UMaine Farmington. It was that meeting that would change his life. Campbell bought Meninda a bus ticket to Maine, and with it, a promise of a new life.
And I was welcomed well. The community kind of embraced me in a very good way.
Now Meninda is a student at UMaine Farmington, runs on the track team, and even runs his own website dedicated to bringing awareness to human trafficking.
We have to educate and make people aware that, hey, it's time that now we stop living in denial, living in ignorance, and understand that we have a problem here.
A problem that Meninda hopes he can help bring a solution to.
Each and every contribution that I can make towards making a better life for somebody, that to me means a lot.
Meninda certainly has done that. In 2016, he ran 3,700 miles across the country to raise awareness for human trafficking. He's also involved with the Police Athletic League and runs his own website aimed at promoting a healthy and positive lifestyle. In the studio, Tracy Sable, WMTW News 8.